everyone, I am Melanie with the Lansing Journal, and this is Josh Bootsma, our managing editor.
Hello.
You know, the Lansing Journal is Lansing's only newspaper, and it is our job to keep people informed and connected.
That's right.
And one of the ways we do that is by attending village board meetings.
That's right. It's a regular part of our work with them, you and I.
Yes, we go there to get information and then share it with our viewing and reading public to keep them connected to what's going on in town.
Right. And one thing that we notice at these village board meetings, Melanie, we get lots of good news tips from there, but we also notice, unfortunately, sometimes are like the only members of the public that are there. That's not always true. Sometimes there are a lot more people there.
Right.
But for how big Lansing is and for how much people seem to really enjoy reading our coverage of what happens at the meetings, there really is not always a lot of participation at the meetings themselves. We've got some footage at the recent village board meeting, and we're just going to kind of show you some videos of that we took while at this meeting, and then comment on them and maybe help make it more accessible for you. If you've considered going but you're a little uncomfortable, hopefully this video will be helpful for you.
It's sort of Village Board Meetings 101.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Understanding village board meetings.
Right.
Some of the logistics, some of the interactions, and just kind of the culture of being at a board meeting. And we hope that after seeing this, you will feel more comfortable about attending a board meeting and participating in community that way.
That's right.
So what do you have here on this computer, Josh?
So we've got 6 clips. You'll be viewing the clips as we view them. And our first clip is just quite simple, where to go, physically. Where to go to attend a village board meeting. So let's look at on this one. There's no sound on this clip, so we can talk over this. This is the Lansing Police Department.
It's at the police station, which could be unnerving. Who wants to go to a meeting at the police station?
Right.
And
instead of turning left to the police area, you turn right to the courtroom atrium.
Courtroom entrance. Who wants to go into the courtroom? But that's where the meeting is, in the courtroom.
Set of double doors, and you're in the room. And that's the end of the video there. Very
you got us in the room.
We're in the room. But I know even that can be a burden.
Right.
Not knowing where to go.
Right.
It can be a barrier.
There's a lot of seats there, and you don't know if there's assigned seating or where you should sit. Any seat is available.
Yeah.
They look like church pews, so and of
they
course
creak like church pews too.
Yes, they do. And of course, people sit on the end, so then if you come later, then it's hard to get a place. You don't want to climb over people, but come on in. People do come and you don't want to interrupt the meeting either, which can be a thing. But meetings start at 6 p.m. now.
That's right.
That was decided at this most recent meeting.
Right.
They tried that during the summer and decided they liked it, so now the meetings will start at 6 p.m. Get there a few minutes early to get a seat and greet people and just get acclimated. Usually they have the agendas and the minutes from the previous meeting in a little file thing on the other door.
Right, towards the front of the room.
So those are available, or you can print out the one that Josh posts and publishes. We publish those agendas ahead of time so that people can see what's going on.
That's right.
So that's how to come to a meeting.
That's right. All right, this is opening the meeting here.
Trustee Zeldenros? Here. Trustee Smith? Here. Trustee Harden?
Here.
Trustee Bassi?
So that's Clerk Vivian Payne, who is taking roll.
Trustees have before them the minutes of the village board meeting of August 15, 2023. Are there questions or discussion on those minutes? Ask for motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Village Clerk, please call the roll. Trustee Hardy?
Aye.
Trustee Bassi?
Aye.
Trustee Valencia?
Aye.
Trustee Zeldenros?
Aye.
Trustee Gray-Karovich? Trustee Smith? Aye.
So just very broad strokes there. The village board uses Robert's Rules of Order, which if you're unfamiliar with can seem like kind of a antiquated, odd way to run things, but it's a very common way to run meetings like this.
It's very structured.
Yep. So this is the meeting opening. The mayor is kind of the mayor runs the meeting, so to speak, and the clerk calls the roll for each item that needs to be passed and voted on. So they did a roll call to see who's present at the meeting, and then they approved the minutes from the previous meeting
Right.
back in August. So that's what happened in that video.
And those minutes cannot get publicly posted until they are officially approved by the board. So minutes are usually a couple of weeks behind, so to speak.
Right.
Because they only get approved at meetings. You can also see in this video that the 6 trustees are seated in the front there. Those 6 people in the front are your trustees. And then up on the top, on the dais, are, you can see the village attorney at the left. Next to him is village clerk Vivian Payne. Next to her is Mayor Patty Item. And next to her is village administrator Dan Podgorski.
Right.
And they don't usually vote. The 2 guys on the end never vote. The mayor occasionally votes. The village clerk is not a voting member of the board.
Right. Right. There you go. 101. That's the open of the meeting there. Let's see what we have next. All right, we're going to do this.
It's exciting to get it going. None of you are more excited than I am. The plan unchanged.
Josh, who is this
Let's
guy?
all go get a beer, okay?
This is Mark Kosel of One Trick Pony, informing the board that I'm going to let this question go here.
Build up time frame. Obviously, I will do everything I can to get us in the summertime as opposed to for football season, hopefully before football season. But having been at this since pre-COVID, certain things come up along the way, so I'm not even out to think that some other challenge will come up, whether it's man-made, whether it's something that I was expecting. We'll see. But 9 to 12 months is what the general contractor has been describing this first phase as, and really good goal.
So that's Mark Kosel of One Trick Pony announcing that he is in fact still planning to come to the old DeYoung Furniture Building there on Ridge Road, right next to what is now Bulldog Ale House.
Right.
Mark has been before the village board a few times now. He might have a frequent flyer number by now at the village board, coming up with petitions for this or that, informing that this is his plan. And then this is just a very brief, I'm still doing this. You heard him tell Trustee Maureen Grady-Perovich, who asked for a timeline, hopefully summer of 2024 for when things will be finished for that location.
Right. Yeah, he mentioned too that he started the process years ago,
Yes.
before the pandemic, and has just been dealing with so many delays and changes, and of course the pandemic influenced prices of materials and availability of contractors and all of that. So,
Right.
and no work had started on the building, so people were excited when they heard he was coming, and then
Right.
to not see anything for so long.
Right.
People wondered if he was still planning on it, if
Right.
COVID had changed everything. So it was nice to be at a board meeting and see him there.
Right.
And have him affirm that yes, he is still planning to open a restaurant and bar, pub right in downtown Lansing on Ridge Road.
Yep. So if you come to these village board meetings, you know this stuff before anyone else. So it's another reason to come. All right, this is the last clip that happened during the village board meeting proper, and then we'll move on to some clips from the committee of the whole. And you already explained a little bit what that is, but we can do that more. This is during the public comment portion of the village board meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for public comment. If you have public comment, I ask that you wait to be recognized and step forward to the microphone and please provide us with your name. We'd appreciate you keeping your comments no more than 5 minutes. Hello, Mrs. Lund, it's your turn.
I am
Diane is like an old friend of the board.
I live in Lansing on 190.
This is Diane Lund, and we'll let her kind of give her pitch a little bit here.
And I'm also the chairperson of the Lansing Garden Club. I'm going to talk about monarch butterflies. The problem is, these eggs were laid between August 12th and August 17th. It takes a month, 32 days for them to mature. I picked on to save them, from birds who love eating caterpillars, but I can't fight the mowers by myself. So all the Burnham Ditch area has been mowed, and the other vacant lots have been mowed, so the eggs that the monarchs lay, the caterpillars, whatever stage, they don't even have a chance of migrating to Maxwell. I'm hoping to delay mowing until after September 15th. You know, it's only 10 days from now. So what happens is most places, maybe there's a schedule and they're mowed too early. So I ask you, is there a way to encourage businesses, or is there a way that you can change the mowing schedule of Village of Lansing land to be mowed after September 15th?
You send me everything that you have, and
Okay.
I'll talk to our new Director of Communications down in Starford, and we'll see if we can get something out by way of our website and social media, and perhaps she'll do an article for the next Looking at Lansing, and I can promise you that we'll do everything we can to help you, including seeing if we can improve that mowing schedule.
Thank you.
But
Thank
you'll
you all for your
send me
time.
those dates of that.
Okay.
Exact guidelines, and we'll see what we can do.
All right. Thank you.
So can you just at least walk by here slowly so we can see what you have?
Sure.
Diane brought show and tell.
She did.
Again, tagging them when they're found.
So that's a great example of a citizen who has an idea, who is passionate about something, who's done their research, coming and making a pitch to the village board. This is not the first
Right.
time Diane Lund has done this.
Right, she's familiar with the process, she's familiar with all the trustees and the board and how the voting happens, so she had done her research ahead of time, and she's very passionate about nature in general, and you might recall, we can link to the story we did when she changed an ordinance about bees.
Right.
And now beekeeping is allowed in
Right.
Lansing, and that was a long process, but she understood the process and she was willing to take the time to go through the process. So
Right.
here she's here with another ask, and she was very specific about what she was hoping for. It's something that is in the village board's control, and she presented that idea to them and won the support of the mayor, it looked like.
Right. Yep. And so it sounds like something will happen in response to this comment. It's worth noting that public comment technically is a time just to make a comment.
Right.
A commenter isn't necessarily entitled to a response on the spot.
It's not a Q&A session.
Right. And sometimes the mayor says, I encourage you to talk to the police chief, or I encourage you to talk to this other person or someone else who
Right.
might be more familiar with that situation. So the meeting starts at 6. The public comment portion at the end of the village board meeting, the first meeting, is the time where you can, as a member, as a Lansing resident, you can get up and make any comment that you want to.
Right.
You're supposed to keep your comments to under 2 minutes. You say your name and where you live, and you can make any comment. If you miss this public comment portion, you may not be able to make a public comment again for the rest of the night. There is another public comment portion at the end of the committee of the whole meeting, which is the second of the 2 meetings. But in that public comment portion, you are only allowed to comment on anything that was discussed during that committee of the whole meeting. So actually during this, on Tuesday night, there was a little bit of a confusion there. Someone came in late to the meeting, missed that first public comment, tried to make a public comment at the committee of the whole, and the mayor informed that they were unable to do so, and she did a good job of explaining. So just worth noting that that's your time.
It's a technicality.
Yes.
But it's part of the rules of the system.
Right.
And there was also some confusion because of the time change.
That's right.
And so people thought the meeting started at 7, started at 6, and there was confusion about that. So, we're here to also communicate that same thing. The meetings start at 6, and that first meeting is where the public can comment on anything. And we've heard a variety of comments. People ask about speeding in their neighborhood, or their street conditions, or things at Walmart. You can bring up anything you want and ask for you don't have to have a solution, you don't have to have a specific request, but it's your chance to make the board aware
Right.
of some issue that you're dealing with. And often the mayor will connect you with whoever can help solve that problem.
That's right. So this is our last video here. This is a little bit of a longer one. This moves now from the village board meeting to the committee of the whole meeting. So how it works is the committee of the whole happens whenever the village board meeting is done. And that's when the trustees have a chance to hear from petitioners. For example, we're going to hear a petitioner requesting both a Class 8 tax incentive and a special use for a drive-through permit. So trustees get to hear from the petitioner and have discussions and learn information. And then during that 2-week period from board meeting to board meeting, the trustees have time to do their research. The public has time to contact your trustee and say, hey, I think you should vote this way or this way on this issue, and here's why. And then in the village board meeting, which we just got done showing you, that's when the final vote happens on those items.
Right. And it can be confusing if you arrive at the board meeting and then you see that meeting end and adjournment happens and you think it's over. But if you stick around for 3 minutes, the new meeting starts. And
Right.
that's the time for discussion. And it's confusing because of the order of the meetings. The stuff that's happening at the second meeting will be decided on at the first meeting 2 weeks later.
Exactly. Hopefully we clarified that for you.
Aren't you glad you're taking this class?
So to give you an example of the kind of depth that these kind of committee of the whole meetings get into, this is for JJ Maxwell, JJ Original Maxwell Street. And you're going to hear a variety of people speaking here.
I'm here to represent Mr. Dennis Larson. Obviously, he's the landlord. This particular property's been vacant for a few years. He does qualify for a Class 8 based upon same ownership over 12 months.
That parcel of land, actually, is a fairly large piece of land. In which it goes to the west and then southwest behind.
This is Trustee Brian Hardy getting some clarification.
Right. And I know, Dan, you made a note also there is, there's like an old abandoned sign. Is that on that property? Like it's like a 40-foot tall, like an old sign.
So Dennis, I know this area
This is Village
here,
Administrator Dan Podgorski
this was
coming
part
up
of
and clarifying
like
some
one of those
things,
checkers.
exactly where the property
There's like
lines are
one or
drawn
12
and who's in
spaces
charge
that
of what.
are paved back here.
Yeah, those are big.
Right, and it's outside your pin, but it presents as if it's part of your property. But that's that back area that presents as part of your property. I think there's 11 or 12 spaces there. So again, if you've got a survey that shows it's part of your property, that's great.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Jesnek, and I own
This is Mr. Jasnek. He owns JJ's Original.
I support permission for drive-through. We want to open 2 drive-through windows. So we got only carry out business, just no sit down.
Shaky camera, sorry about that.
More, faster, more safe, convenience for customer. Yeah.
And where would the drive-through go? I guess,
Trustee Michaela Smith.
how it would be staffed.
She's essentially asking where the cars are going to stack as part of this double drive-through
First
configuration.
is going to be open. So the first is going to be open this one. Yeah, then the other we got here.
So show where the cars would stand.
Yeah,
where,
the car is coming this way. Here we got board menu. Yeah.
So that's the kind of level of detail that these committee of the whole meetings get into. I mean, these trustees are voting on whether or not to approve a permit for something.
Right.
And so they want to get all the details. So this is when the trustees have the floor, essentially, to ask whatever questions they want.
Right, and that's why there's some distance between the committee of the whole and the board meeting.
Right.
Because there is a lot of information presented. Some of these trustees might want to go to the site now and walk around or look at torrents and how it might affect traffic. They take all of that kind of thing into consideration before they have to vote on it 2 weeks from then.
Yep. The village board meeting was much longer than these
Right.
clips show you. Sometimes it's a very long evening, sometimes it's not as long. But you always go out having learned something that you didn't know before about the village of Lansing. And it was such a fortuitous evening on Tuesday, because after Melanie and I leave the courtroom, we met someone, a local resident who was there. I believe her name was Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
And she said that we met her, and she said, yeah, I moved to Lansing last summer. I've been kind of, getting established, and this is my first time coming to a village board meeting. I just want to know what's going on in town. I want to stay connected to the community. It was so cool that after we had taken footage to create this video that we met Tanya. It was just so encouraging. So I guess be like Tanya.
We, of course, signed her up for the Lansing Journal.
That's right.
So now she's getting updates about things. She's new to Lansing, so she doesn't know about Fox Point, about Autumn Fest, which is coming up. She doesn't know what businesses are planned. She can see things that are happening currently, but she doesn't know what they are. So, yes, subscribe to the Lansing Journal and come to village board meetings. It's a great way to stay informed.
Absolutely. And hopefully we will see you there. Hope that this video was informative for you today. And thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next week.